Welcome back everyone. In today's session we are going to continue the application of section formula in solving different questions. So in the last session we have seen this formula and I said this is section formula. Even I said you where do we use this formula. Okay, just we'll recall it once. This formula is used to find the point. Okay, if you have a line segment, say AB, and if a point divides AB in some ratio m1 is to m2, say m1 is to m2 because it is not dividing equally, so the ratio is m1 is to m2. So there are four different parts in this figure. Okay, what are those four different parts? Third one is A, second is B, this is your x1 y1. Okay, this will be your x2 y2. Keep this in mind, and this point will take as x comma y, the point which we have to find. Excuse me. And m1 is to m2, sorry 1a, this is 2, and this is the third part P, the point which divides. So usually we take it as x comma y. Okay, and m1 is to m2, the ratio is the fourth part. So these are the four different terms in this figure. Out of these four, any one can be missing. I said you that yesterday. So yesterday what was missing? Yesterday this point P was missing, so we found that point P, isn't it? This point P was missing and this was given. Yeah, this all three were given, P was missing, we found P by using section formula. Okay, now any one can be missing, keep this in mind. The ratio can be missing if this is given. Okay, so we will see all this type of questions in the upcoming problems. Another thing, this point P can be on x-axis also. Okay, so what is the point on x-axis? Hope you remember it. Point on x-axis is x comma 0, and point on y-axis is 0 comma y. I already said you that this whole chapter, coordinate geometry, is related to graphs only. Okay, the distance which we are finding, or the point which we are finding using section formula, or the midpoint which we are finding, this all are on the graph only. Okay, let's continue with the exercise question now. So we are in exercise 7.2. Yesterday we did question number 1 and 2. Okay, in question number 2 we did point of trisection. Okay, so point of trisection divides the line into three parts, and in the ratio 1 is to 2 and 2 is to 1. Hope you remember it. Question number 3 you have to try. It's very simple question, so I'm continuing with question number 4. So here he's asking you to find the ratio in which the line segment joining the points minus 3 comma 10, minus 3 comma 10, 6 comma minus 8 is divided by minus 1 comma 6. Okay, so here what's given, from if I compare it with the figure, what's given, this point AB is given, this point AB are given, and P is given. Okay, so we have to find the ratio here. You can clearly see, find the ratio in which the line segment joining the points is divided by minus 1 comma 6. Okay, so whenever this type of question comes, you should begin it in this way. Let the points be A minus 3 comma 10, B 6 comma minus 8, and C, you can name the points as your wish. Okay, and this is the way the figure is given here. Okay, so point C is dividing AB. In which ratio it is dividing, we don't know that. Okay, so m1 and m1 is to m2 is missing here, so we are going to find m1 is to m2. So whenever the ratio is missing, we'll take the ratio as k is to 1. What we will take? So we need to find the ratio between AC and BC. So let the ratio be k is to 1. What is this k? You'll come to know about that. Once we find the k, we'll get our ratio at the end. So k is to 1. So this k is to 1. This k is your m1 and m2 is your 1. Okay. So k is to 1 is our ratio. I have even taken here m1 is equals to k and m2 is equals to 1. Okay. And from these 2 points, we have taken x1, y1, x2, y2 values also. So x1, y1 is minus 3 comma 10, minus 3 and 10. x2, y2 is 6 and minus 8. So these are your x1, y1, x2, y2 values. So we'll keep these all the values ready and substitute in the formula. Okay. So these all the values will substitute in the formula now. Now using the section formula, just I am using one part, that is x part. What is the part x in that? How do we find x? m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2. There are two parts in the formula. This is x and this is y. Okay. So you can use any one part here in this case. So I am using the first part, that is x, which is used to find x. Okay. So x is equal to m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2. We'll substitute all the values. What is x? This is your x and y. Okay. This is your x and this is your y. Keep this in mind. These are your x1, y1 and x2, y2. Okay. x1, y1 and x2, y2 are here. Okay. Next. So x comma y is minus 1 comma 6. So x is equal to m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2. What is your m1 m2? Keep this in mind. And x1 x2, we need these two values. Okay. For the first case, m1 x2, so m1 x2, that is k into 6 plus m2 x1, m2 is 1 and x1 is 6, x1 is minus 3. So substituting all the values, and x value is minus 1 here. So I have written minus 1. So 6k minus 3 by k plus 1 is equals to minus 1. If you want, you can go with this also. You can substitute the values in the second part also, and there you will equate it with y. Y is equal to 6. Fine. So anyway you get the answer. It's not compulsory to substitute in both of them. So here we'll continue now. What did we get? 6k minus 3 by k plus 1 is equal to minus 1. Continuing, cross multiply it. This become minus k minus 1 and this is 6k minus 3. Then taking all the k's to the left, so this become minus 7k and this becomes minus 3 plus 1, that is minus 2. So k is equals to minus 2 by minus 7. That negative and negative sign gets cancelled here. Okay. And remains 2 by 7. So what was our ratio? K is to 1. We supposed our ratio as k is to 1. So we got the value of k, that is 2 by 7. So 2 by 7 is to 1 is our ratio. But this should not be kept in fraction. So to remove this 7, I'll multiply by 7 on both the sides, so that this both the 7's get cancelled. Okay. So 2 is to 7. What I get? 2 is to 7. So therefore the ratio is 2 is to 7. Got it, everyone? So whenever the ratio is missing, you can begin with k is to 1 as ratio. There is another method for finding it. You can even take m1 is to m2 as the ratio, but there you will get two equations, linear equations, and you have to solve them by elimination method and find the values of m1 m2. This is quite easier if you go with k is to 1. So 2 is to 1 can again be converted into 2 by 7 is to 1, okay, by dividing by 7 on both the sides. Okay, next we'll continue with the next question. Now here, find the ratio in which the line segment A 1 comma minus 5, B minus 4 comma 5 is divided by x-axis. So this line segment is divided by x-axis. So just now I said you what is the point on x-axis. Point on x-axis will be x comma 0. So if I explain you this, the figure of this, a line segment, this is your x-axis and y-axis. Let's draw two axes here, x-axis and y-axis. Okay, so there is a line segment going somewhat like this. It is divided by x-axis. This is the line segment AB, say AB. Okay, so x-axis, this is divided by x-axis somewhere here. So what is the point on x-axis? X comma 0. Okay, the point P is here now. The point P is on x-axis. So the point on x-axis will be x comma 0. If suppose if you get another question, this can be asked in this way also. Line segment is divided by y-axis. So y-axis point will be 0 comma y. Okay, point on y-axis is 0 comma y and point on x-axis is x comma 0. So we'll take this x comma 0 for simplification purpose. Keep this in mind. Let's begin now. So we have to find what is that x comma 0. What is the x, point x? Let's continue with it. Point P on is on x-axis, so hence its y coordinate is 0. Just now I said you that is it will be x comma 0. Now we have to find this x value here. Okay, x value. Let's continue. Again I have taken the ratio because we have to find the ratio. Let the ratio be k is to 1. We'll substitute so m1 is and m2 are k and 1, x1 y1 x2 y2. We'll take all the values from here. This is m1 m2 x1 y1 are here and x2 y2 we have taken from here. Okay, and x comma 0, this is your x and y. I said you that x comma 0 will be your x and y. So x and y we have taken from the third part. Okay, so we have taken all the required values from the question. Now in which part we should substitute it to find the value of k? So it's better if I substitute it in y because the y coordinate is 0 here. If I substitute in the y part, what is the part y in this? m1 y2 plus m2 y1, this part. Okay, because this part is x and this part is 0. Okay, this part is x and this part is 0. So if I take the y part, I'll directly get the value. Okay, let's see that here now. So using the formula m1 y2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2, substituting all the values, m1 m2 is k and 1 and y1 y2 is this one minus 1 and 5. Substituting all the values and y is 0. If you go with the x part, you will get x is equal to x. So when you get is equal to x, you may not get the value of k there. Okay, that is the reason we should compare with y. Substituting all the values and cross multiplying it, we'll get the value of k, 5k minus 5, and 5k minus 5, 5k is equals to 5 and k is equals to 1. Okay, so finally we got the value of k. Now he is asking you to find the value of x also. Now we can use the x part, the x term of the formula. So x is equal to m1 x2 plus m2 x1 by m1 plus m2. We have got the value of k, m1 m2. Okay, what is our m1 m2 now? m1 m2 is, it was k is to 1 in the beginning, yeah, but as we got the value of k, it's 1 is to 1 now. This is your m1 m2. Okay, So substituting these all the values in in x from previous slide. So I have taken all the values and we got x as -3/2. So therefore the point on x-axis is -3/2 comma 0. This is the way we have to do it. So go very carefully and patiently when you watch the video. Don't be in hurry. If you get any doubt, watch it again and again. Still, if you get any doubt, then you can get back to me. Let's see one more bit. Now in this question, this is one of the most important question, I can say again. Okay. Here you can see a parallelogram is given and 4 vertices are given. The 4 vertices of a parallelogram are given, and in this x and in this y, these two are missing. So we have to find those missing coordinates. So we have taken, let the points be A, B, C, D for our convenience. Now we know that diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. Yeah, this point is already given here, so no need to repeat it. Okay, this point is repeated, leave it. Okay, so we know that the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. So O is the midpoint of AC as well as BD or not? Yes, it will be the midpoint of AC and BD. So here we should not apply section formula or distance formula. Okay, very carefully you have to do it. So O is the midpoint of AC. O will be the midpoint of AC as well as, for this AC midpoint is O, and for BD also midpoint is O. So you know that very well because you have studied the properties of parallelogram in 9th class. They bisect each other, so they have common midpoint. So midpoint of AC is equal to midpoint of BD. Now I'll apply the midpoint formula. You know midpoint formula very well. That's x1 plus x2/2 comma y1 plus y2/2. Okay, we'll apply the midpoint formula and we'll equate both the midpoints because they have common midpoint. Okay, AC, when I go with AC, x1 plus x2, so carefully I'll take the values. Okay, from A and C I'm taking now. This is x1 y1, this is x2 y2. So x1 plus x2 means 1 plus x by 2, and y1 plus y2 here is 2 plus 6 by 2. 2 plus 6 by 2 is 8 by 2, that is 4. Okay, then I'll proceed with the other one, BD. Okay, midpoint of BD I'll find. So BD, x1 plus x2, this two I am taking now. 4 plus 3 by 2, okay, that is 7 by 2, and y1 plus y2 is y plus 5 by 2, that is as it is. So this way we substitute all the values. Midpoint of AC and midpoint of BD will equate now, comparing x and y coordinates, comparing x with x, okay, x with x, and this y coordinate with y, because they are equal. So 1 plus x by 2 is equal to 7 by 2, and this 2 and 2 gets cancelled. So x is equal to 6, and 4 is equal to y plus 5 by 2, cross multiply it. 2 4 times is 8, and 8 minus 5, that is 3. So y is equals to 3. So this is the way we can find the missing coordinates using midpoint formula. Hope it's clear to you all. So you'll find many interesting questions in this exercise, and these all are basics of coordinate geometry still. The actual coordinate geometry begins in intermediate. Okay, so those who are going for mathematics for intermediate, this chapter is very important for you all. Okay.